Hi everyone, welcome to the House of Wisdom. My name is Tayyib and we'll be talking today about one of the oldest forms of healing and ancient wisdoms in the world, Ayurveda. And I also have a special guest today that will be talking to me about it.
Thanks, Tayyip, for having me over. I'm super excited to talk about Ayurveda and how it can help others in their healing and wellness journey. What is Ayurveda? So, if you split up the word, Ayurveda is Ayur and Veda. Ayur means life, and Veda means science. So, it's the science of life. So, there's a lot of things that Ayurveda is. It's your routine. It's what you eat, what you shouldn't eat, based on many factors, and certain oils and medicines that you can take. Modern medicine, allopathy, goes back a couple of hundreds of years. But then when we talk about Ayurveda, it goes back thousands of years in India, where it's originated from. So that's catching on today, and people are starting to realize that um, it has its benefits through certain practices on daily routines, on foods of what one should eat and what one shouldn't eat, based on the different body types.
At House of Wisdom, we're trying to preserve those cultures and those ancient wisdoms that have stood the test of time. Their practices have stood the test of time and they're still impacting millions of people's lives in the world. And modern science has now come into play and taken the spotlight. Um, so it's amazing to see that people are still using the things that have been passed down through generations, and including myself as well. The reason we're talking and I reached out to you because I have my own experience when it comes to going or exploring the options of alternate medicine, whether it's with or without the modern science, to kind of complement my life and take control of my own healing. So, with that being said, I know you have also a personal story when it comes to Ayurveda and your gravitation towards it. So, we'd love to just put some light on that as well.
So my experience with Ayurveda started 3 years ago when I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, and the doctors and neurologists straight up said you need to be on steroids for this much time, and then you need to take this medicine which has a list of 100 maybe side effects, which I wasn't comfortable with initially, but I gave it a shot, and I found out that it didn't work for me a few months in. So I dropped that and I came back to one of the oldest sciences that's lasted, Ayurveda, for my healing, for my wellness. And that has worked for me. Simple practices about waking up and going to bed and when you should eat, and maybe certain herbs, plants that you can take in addition to whatever you're doing to improve your digestion or immunity. So there's a lot on the table, which Ayurveda offers for one's benefit.
Amazing. And you touched upon a couple of things there, which is gut health and digestion. And at least from the other ancient wisdoms that I've researched and looked into, it's a big part of taking care of someone's health and wellness is focusing on their gut. And modern science now has come back to back that by talking about the gut and brain connection, the fact that your serotonin is produced in your gut. 70% of it is produced in your gut. So the gut actually controls your mood and how happy you feel. So, do you have any little sort of things to share that you've used to kind of improve on your gut as well, health? And do you think that actually took an impact, or made an impact on your journey with your wellness?
So Ayurveda says that there are three energies: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. That everyone is made up of these three energies in different levels. From the time we're born, from inception, we're born with these three doshas, they're called. And as we grow older, as we maybe eat a lot of foods that don't suit us, or perform exercises that are not suitable to our body, or stress. I think one of the leading causes of any problems, disease, is stress. So that causes an imbalance in these doshas, and when that happens, um, diseases can come out of it, definitely. Understanding the type, your body type, it's called, and trying to get it back to neutral, wherever it was, wherever it started, is the goal of Ayurveda. Vata is made up of air and space. A person who's more Vata dominant is more, I guess, airy. They're light on their feet. They're very quick with their thinking. Um, they're also maybe confused at times. They're just always around the place. Well, okay, so Vata is like someone who's thin and skinny, not very muscular. Pitta is fire based, so someone who has more energy, the fire in them to do something, to build, to move, they have energy, right? Is a medium body type, and yeah, they can be strong, muscular. Kapha is made up of earth and water. Kapha, the third one, is someone who is slightly bigger, bigger body frame. So there are these three energies that everyone is made up of. You can do an online quiz to tell you your body type in Ayurveda. Um, but what's better is if a doctor uh, can take your, because so when you check your pulse, what do you think of? Yeah, so when you check your pulse, you think, oh, the heartbeat is only like one sound, like boop, boop, boop. But in Ayurveda, each of these three energies have a pulse on your wrist. Using these three fingers, you can check it. I mean, you can't check it, but a doctor is more accustomed and well educated to check these and see which one's higher, too high maybe, or if one is too low, then, and what you're going to do with your food, with medications, maybe plant based, to balance these energies.
That's really fascinating because, as we were discussing as well off camera, everyone's different, every body type is different, and I think those ancient wisdoms usually take that into consideration a lot more than modern science, where it's essentially like you feel something, you get a pill, and it's a one size fit all, unless obviously certain cases, but usually you get a headache, it doesn't matter what your body type is, who you are, you go take a Panadol and that's it. And we're now like sort of groomed to just having a one size fit all option, while there's so many different factors in your body that make you feel a set of ailment or disease. So it's beautiful to see that visualization with the elements when it comes to Ayurveda. And I think I've learned a lot from just listening to you now. If you had to pick or choose a few specific things that everyone can sort of pick and do from your experience with Ayurveda, whether it's certain practices or certain ingredients to kind of lean towards, even though I know it's difficult because everyone's different. But do you think there are something that anyone can apply to their day to day and see or reap the rewards of that to take control of their wellness?
So Ayurveda says that when the sun is at the highest point in the sky, noon, is when your digestion in the body is the strongest. So Ayurveda says that your biggest meal should be lunch, because that's when it's going to be digested. So light breakfast, maybe a light dinner, but the biggest meal of your day should be around lunchtime, between 11 to 1 p.m. So that's what Ayurveda is, just a bunch of principles that you can follow to be in tune with nature. um, First thing in the morning, when you wake up, what do? You go for a shower, you cleanse, right? You look at this part of the body, just the face. You have the ears, the nose, the eyes, the tongue, and the skin, which is which is basically all your five senses is just in this space. You know, we want to clean those parts of the body. So for cleaning the mouth, you brush your teeth. Are you aware of a tongue cleaner?
No.
Okay. So there's these. It's called tongue cleaners. It's like a steel device. It's very simple. Um, you just cleanse your tongue with it every time you brush in the morning and the night. A lot of toxins build up on your tongue in the morning when you sleep all night. So when you use this tongue cleaner, you basically remove all these toxins because if you don't, they're going to go back in your body into your gut. That's where the problems start in the gut. So I've been doing that for about more than a year. That's really helpful. I find that very helpful using a tongue cleaner actually. For cleaning your ears, just some a bit of water. For the nose, there's this practice called jal neti, where there's these pots. You just you mix some water in it with salt, and then you put it from one nostril and comes out the other. That mixture with salt is what allows the water to go in from one and out the other, so that you're comfortable. If you just try to inhale water, it's going to go straight to your head. And for eyes, there's you can just splash some water, but then again, there's also these eye cups that you can use and put a bit of um, powder, actually triphala. Triphala powder you mix with this water and then use it to cleanse your eyes. So we've got the eyes, we've got the nose, we've got the mouth, we've got the skin. You just shower, and then ears is the same thing. You just cleanse them. So that's one of the first things. First thing in the morning, you do these things before you do some exercise, before you um, do some work, before you're on the move. So cleansing is the foundation of your day.
You touch upon one herb or one ingredient that is used as a staple in Ayurveda, which is triphala. It would be great if you can touch upon, because I know you brought some with you today. That
So triphala is a Ayurvedic herb made from three plants. Triphala basically balances these three energies in your body: vata, pitta, and kapha. It really helps with digestion. So if you're facing any problems with that, first thing in the morning or before you sleep as well, either way is fine. This is another one. It's called ashwagandha. I think it's called Indian ginseng. Um, but the roots of this are used to make this powder, and it's really good for brain health, for stress management.
being diagnosed with an autoimmune disease is obviously, it's not um, a simple thing to manage. Me myself, having had epilepsy growing up and dealing with that and counting on modern science or modern medicine, and then feeling frustrated by it and seeking alternatives. How much of, I know you said you only use Ayurveda now to treat your condition, but is, like, I'm sure it's hard to believe for a lot of people that that's all you do to treat something that someone would say is a bit serious.
No, this is not all I do. There's certain oils which are good for you for self application if you don't want to go for a massage. So I do that on my feet. It's really good.
Like, it's interesting how it's all about balance, right? And not just with Ayurveda, with other ancient wisdoms as well, such as Chinese wisdom, even Islamic ones that we've touched upon in previous discussions. um, I'm sure we can talk about this for hours potentially, but if there is someone that is new to Ayurveda, what would be sort of your one thing to tell them, your one advice to them? I know mine would be just to be open minded, to approach everything in a holistic way. Is there something you would want to share to someone that's just found out about Ayurveda and is interested to know a bit more?
First thing in the morning with the cleansing. The first thing that Ayurveda recommends to do first thing in the morning is to clean your bowels before you allow food to re-enter your system. You need to get rid of the waste. So I think that's number one for me. Um, and then we've spoken about all the cleansing. A bit of exercise. So Ayurveda says that how much exercise do you need to do? It's just enough exercise to do so that you're sweating on your underarms, on your armpits, just a little bit of sweat. We don't need more than that. These days we try to go too intense with workouts and CrossFit and like a lot of stuff, but Ayurveda doesn't really recommend that.
So, Chand, you just mentioned exercise, and it's interesting that you said that sometimes it's not all about how much you exercise. There's balance to that as well. Is there any other like practices that you also do in terms of getting your exercise in?
I used to be a gym rat. I used to go to the gym a lot. I used to do a lot of classes, CrossFit, the whole thing. Um, but according to Ayurveda, um, intense exercises wasn't working for me, and it's because I was doing so much with the intense exercise with certain things in my diet that I shouldn't have been eating, because I was just open to eating everything and a lot of it. I did, I think, what's it called, keto. I did keto for like a few months, and that just created so many problems, I feel. Yoga is the sister science of Ayurveda. So a little bit of yoga is you're just stretching and moving your body and um, opening up like muscles and the joints in your body, which you don't necessarily do by doing a circuit or a fitness class. So yoga has its benefits.
That's really powerful, and especially at the age we're in, where everything is driven by modern science, and sometimes we need to take a step back and find a holistic solution. And thank you so much for sharing your experience and your story today. It's inspiring to hear, and it's just a call to action for anyone that's going through something, or if not, to try and find different options, different avenues that you relate to, that you connect with, to take control of your own health. It's there's definitely a lot that you can do, and I'll have to thank you again for sharing your experience, and
Thank
would
you.
love to talk to you about it again. And I know you wrote a few blogs on Ayurveda and your experience, so we'll put that in the link below. And we'll also put the Ayurvedic body type tests, which I'm definitely going to do after hearing about it today now. And see you next time.